Sure.
I hadn't seen him over at the office.
All right.
when I was over
I
there.
didn't either. Wow.
That was powerful.
Just want to make sure you guys are awake.
Okay.
Wake us up.
I've always wanted to do that. I can scratch that off my bucket list. Let's go ahead and call this meeting to order. I'd like to start with the approval of the minutes of August 17, 2023 meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I've reviewed the minutes as presented to the board, and I move that we accept them as prepared.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right. Zach, can we get an update on the application for 118 South Kansas Avenue, please?
Yeah, actually, the applicant is here, so I was hoping to get their update. So that's what they're here to give us their application review and see where they're at. So if you guys want to take the podium, one of you. Here, and I can, if you, yeah, I'll help you. Wait, was that?
Yeah, it's meant to two per person.
Okay, gotcha.
We didn't know how many people was gonna show up, so we have 7 of them.
That's perfect.
Thank you.
Let me make some copies for you. Or we can share.
We can, I
We're
think
good,
we can all.
Okay, we can share.
Hey, do you want to see it?
Yeah, well, here's your copy.
Thank you. Yeah, so if you look over the little handout we had, you'll notice this is what the idea we have for the 118 South Kansas lot. We've run it by city zoning, and they've approved as much as they can, obviously, from our drawing.
So basically, the first drawing that we have is basically, we talked to the city building and inspections, and they say that the lot needs to be platted, so before we can build anything. But like I said in the last meeting, we want to merge. So as right now, we cannot merge until it gets platted. So right now, the only thing we can have is a parking lot. But that kind of help us, what we planning to do. As you can see on the first page is how it's supposed to be right now for what you guys' expectations are going to be for this lot. Okay? Future thing, as you can see, there's 2 pages. Future thing, now since I got a parking lot, then I can build on my own territory or my own 114 South Kansas as future, it says future addition. Now that I know that I have enough parking lot for the people that was commenting to be building. It's a little, it's just a little description of 1 inch by 10 feet. So every parking lot is getting 20 feet long by 10 inch. By 10 feet, and on the parking lots, and on the building, it's a little less than 500 square feet, and that's actually what I was needing, just a little bit more seating facility on the second page. But like we comment on the last meeting, we just need a place where we can people park, and so that's giving the handicap access, and that's giving the extra access for the people, amount of people that we need. And we'll be ready to start with whenever you guys think it's available for us to have it. So, where we go.
Let's see. I know that we had questions on the sorry, I'm going blank here on the words, but originally you had discussed just placement of rocks over that, and we had asked that you look into having it paved. Did you speak to someone in that regard? What was the result there?
Yeah, well, we,
have to pave it, yeah.
yeah, we pave it in, either concrete or asphalt. But, I mean, yeah, I talked to a couple contractors and, they giving me the quotes already. I know, there's no behind you guys' back, but, you know, I need to see my pocket too. So we're already talking, and looks like it's doable, so. And it'll be less than 2 years and we can make it. I mean, like, some of the questions that you guys had, like, you know, like, you guys give me a period of time to get it done. So, we look at it and, it's doable, so.
Looks good.
I have a couple of questions, Mr. Chairman, if I can ask. What's your projected seating for the future addition?
It's probably between 20 to 28 people.
Okay. And you're looking at, looks like 11 parking stalls, is that right?
Yeah,
And I know this is hand-drawn, but is your setback off the railroad? I know this is at an angle and all that, but have you measured to know that you can get this corner piece in off the federal right-of-way of the railroad?
yeah,
Okay, cool.
yeah. As you can see, is an angle,
Yeah,
and, I don't know if you can get the sky view.
Yeah, give me a second. Keep,
So I didn't paint it there, but basically the neighbor, she's basically passing the line for the railroad, which that's not my issue. That would be like her issue. And to the other picture, to the pic of their garage, that'll be my property line basically.
I should have done that first.
We already got pictures of dimensions and everything from the lot and how it will be looking, so.
Okay, yeah. Now you can see where you gotta be back off of it.
can you see that enough, guys, or doing
Yeah,
it?
that's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
You see the neighbor's pic right there, that's basically that's where we're guiding ourselves,
Yeah.
right there.
Can you drop the property line on it, Zach?
It is on there?
It's on, it's a black
So,
trouble.
of course, this is gonna be the,
Right in the way, yeah.
right, maybe I can,
It's underneath that box.
yeah, see it,
Yeah,
There,
man, they're
there. Can you
Your
see
neighbor's
that
property.
line right there?
quite a ways encroached, isn't it?
yeah.
And you can like go towards the neighbor, you can see like half of their garage is not theirs. It's basically
He may come knocking on their door. Okay, you've solved my questions, thank you.
Any other questions?
If you guys are satisfied, you can direct staff to then take this and get this into a development agreement to wrap into the purchase sales agreement, one and the same documents. What would be an adequate build time? Like, from the moment we close, how much time do we want to give them?
Are you requesting 2 years? Is that what I heard you say?
it's pretty much, if I'm done with the first project, I'll be done in less than 2 years.
But you'll have
For the
that.
second project, it will be like more than that, so.
How long would it take you just to do the parking lot?
it's
When would you have
probably-
that done?
Probably like if everything works well enough, it would probably take, probably like 3 months, 4 months. I mean, if you guys approve it right now, I'm sorry.
Oh, go
If
ahead.
you guys will approve it right now, we can talk to our guy to start doing it in the next 3 weeks. And so he'll be done in a week.
Oh, yeah, we're a little slower than that.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
So we just need the approval so he can start in the next 2 weeks preparing the land.
Oh, yeah, see, we can't go
Yeah,
that
yeah,
route.
yeah,
Yeah. So we'll have to, before you can do any work on it, we'll have to close on it. And we're 30 days out from that, from where first we have to develop draft the development agreement and the sales agreement with these terms that they indicate that they want. And then from that point, we have to publish in the paper that the land is for sale and who we're selling it to and how much we're selling it for, as per the state statute for land banks. And so, yeah, we're probably a couple months out from you being able to do that. What I'm saying is, once you close, my recommendation is going to be to give you guys a calendar year to basically pull permits, start breaking ground on all that stuff. And however, if it takes you 3 weeks, 3 months, as long as you're within that year.
And Zach, just to be clear, he would need to have it platted before.
Oh, yeah, and that's going to take time
Our
too.
platting process
Right.
alone is going to take, honestly, a couple of months with the waiting and publication period. So that,
And that's if you hit all the,
all the dates
Right.
in a very specific order. So you'll want to allow a few months just for the platting process alone.
And the planning will come in necessary once we start moving on forward with the addition. But just for parking purposes, we won't have to worry about the platting. The platting comes in necessary for the new addition and then merging the lines. But if we just focus on the parking, from our understanding with our talk with the city and zoning is that this can remain a parking up until then, till we need to. We don't need to plat it up until then.
I think you might be right on you don't have to plat for a parking lot.
Yeah.
That might be, yeah, I believe that is true, but I'll work out those details. What I need here today, though, is just guidance on how we move forward.
I would make the motion that we move forward with the contract,
Okay.
knowing that they have stuff to do with the planning commission that's outside of the contract, that's normal, every day.
Before we get a second on that motion, just real quick, Rod, I know that we had made a comment at our previous meeting in regards to the number of parking stalls per capacity. Has that issue been resolved, or is that no longer in play?
I don't know the answer to that, so let me,
That'll fall under the building code.
yeah, so if they've got the approval from the building code, from,
That'll be a process
people
that's
then-
outside of the land banks.
right.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have a motion. Can I get a second?
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign? Motion carries.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
We'll be in touch.
Appreciate it.
We've never done this before either. Yeah.
Hey, Zach, when you're setting a timeline on that, I don't know about everybody else, but I'd
The
like
year,
to
with the
give
year in
them,
there.
With the year?
get
Is that
the
what?
year,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, it's going to take a long time.
Thank you for
Give it
putting this
plenty of time.
together.
So,
You did a great job.
Glad
From
to
the
be
time
learning
you
with you guys.
Yeah.
so basically, you guys give him a guideline for the concrete or something like that, you say?
That's all, that's all with the inspection
All
department.
right, sounds good.
Yeah.
They'll give you the guidelines. We were just
Yep.
looking at the timeline.
Okay.
Zach will get you back in here for the final.
So,
Correct.
are we gonna have another meeting, or are we just expecting
There will be another meeting. My guess, it'll probably be the March meeting, March, whatever, the third Thursday is,
March.
yes.
Yeah, you're not gonna wanna pour concrete in the winter anyway. It'll give you problems future.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks,
Thank you
guys.
very much.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Moving along to land bank funding.
Yeah, I'm going to turn this over to Rebecca real quick. I don't know, there's just not been an ask for the land bank for funding because we've kind of been at a bit of a budget issue here in the past couple of years. So, but there may or may not be a funding opportunity. I don't know if you want to just speak a little bit on it.
Sure, I think what I'm looking for would be a little bit of direction. So when the land bank was first formed, there was a lot of discussion about not actively purchasing properties and just taking in properties that were donated. And that's been the pathway forward so far. And On the city side of that, which means that the first 2 properties were gifted by the city, and we've been running with the idea that once those properties sold, it would kind of be a self-funding mechanism. And I don't remember, I wish finance and legal were here to know if we're actually billing out our finance and legal hours or if those are being gifted in kind right now. But if you were all wanting to change directions and be, instead of utilizing the city resources in an in-kind manner, but wanting to actually actively purchase or actively do separate marketing outside of our administration and our general marketing terms or other types of things, we could put together a proposal at your direction for that. The way the city usually budgets or allocates non-budgeted general funds would be through an ask or an annual basis, just like we fund actually the chamber and the EDC. And it'd be very similar to that, where we would not fund it multiple years in a row. It would be what we'd be entertaining right now would be like a one-time ask for a year's worth of projects, or if you had a specific project in mind. So I think it's looking for a little direction if you want to continue on this self-funding method of selling a property, using those funds to proceed forward, or if you had a larger projects in mind that needed a larger sum of funding before we started the calendar year in 2024.
And you could go with a big ask. I mean, the Pittsburgh Land Bank started out with $100,000 in the bank to take care of everything from the mowing, maintenance of the property, to purchasing property. That's kind of how they maintain it. They are the gold standard of land banks. So they're still working off of that initial deposit that was done in 2015, I believe. So yeah, I don't know if we'd get that much, but you do not get what you don't ask for. So we could, I could put something together to that, some sort of action plan. I mean, we don't have set properties that we're like, oh yeah, this is the one we're going to go target. So here we need this much. It's going to be difficult to do that because of this game and this nature. Properties come up and they're all shapes, sizes, and forms. And so this would allow us, if we did have some funding, it would allow us to pull some of these properties that were just kind of on the brink, to bring them back to rehabilitate them. Usually the land bank is the last stop for rehabilitation for properties. The Pittsburgh Land Bank, they don't deny any properties that are donated to them. So I don't think we want to get into that habit, but it's, but they're equipped and able to take those on. So yeah, if you guys have any questions.
How much money you got, Mayor?
We squeak pretty hard when we walk, but, yeah, you know, I could see, I think right now that the way things work is like, if we end up getting a property, the city has a small pool of funds that we can use to raise a property if we
Yeah,
need
very
to.
small these days.
Yeah, and we haven't been replenishing that. I think we're down to where maybe we got enough money to maybe do one more.
One more, maybe.
Yeah.
We haven't done it because the bids last time came in too high to
Yeah,
demo
the
it.
contractors have gotten busy enough that what used to be able to knock something down for maybe $5 or $6 grand, and now that's like 15 or 16 grand. So,
Yeah.
so it doesn't go nearly as far. But
And I think staff was thinking potentially that the ask would actually come from the non-budgeted economic development funds that you would normally utilize for other incentivized programs. It would have to come from that.
well, I would think if we had access to that fund, if we had something happen and we could say, you know, can we use some of that money for this? I don't know, it'd be a lot different, other than just getting it under our control.
Right, and that is the method we've been functioning under now, that if you chose to purchase a property, it would just be an ask of the city to do it on your behalf and wait for that. Where the reverse way is to ask for funding up front, but
Yeah,
Like-
if we were to acquire property now that needed mowing, would the city,
currently the city has been, actually this property has been mowed by the city.
Yeah.
And so I think that's one of the reasons that it was brought up. Now, if it sells, and I don't remember the asking price for this property,
It's whatever the,
Appraised value.
yeah, 75% of whatever this appraised, so 75% of 4,620, so.
Okay. So that might,
500.
that might give a little liquidity to continue to mow some
pay.
properties, or to, if you were to purchase something at a tax sale.
Yeah.
That could go, and that has been the position that we've been operating out of. This is just a good time before 2024 to ask
Yeah.
if there's other direction.
It would be my thinking that we ask for a minimal amount so we can pay some stuff if we need to. But, you know, the way we're tied to the city now, you know, we normally could find a little bit of money anytime that we need it. But maybe 10 grand or some small, I don't know what you have in mind.
$100,000 is what I have in mind.
Oh, did you really? Okay.
No,
Well, you
I
know,
wish it was there, but no, let's,
are we gonna get active in tax sales, or are we?
I think we should at least go down that route where we're not necessarily the active bidder, but where Pittsburgh has theirs set up, it's like all properties that go up, it starts with a dollar bid from the Pittsburgh Land Bank. And at first, some people thought, oh, this is terrible. Well, actually, they're able to clean up the title work and do some other things to the property, and then basically turn it around and sell it for a minimal, amount. So once you get people set that way, but you just don't know what's going to come up. That's the problem. It's difficult to anticipate, and when it takes like months to make a move, that's not conducive to.
I'm not even sure if I'm on this board, but I'm.
But
gonna
you speak. It's an open meeting.
So, I'll speak into the mic. I, as an organization that has to ask for funding, it would make me more comfortable if it was my organization to have a little bit of a nest egg where I don't have to come back and ask. So like, if you were saying Pittsburgh asked once, they haven't ever had to ask again, it might be worth it to say, hey, we need 50,000 or whatever number you're thinking as the ask, and then just be done with it, so that it's there in your little nest egg.
That's kind of my
And then
feeling.
we
too.
probably won't really have to go back again, because we are gonna start getting revenue, so that's kind of.
Does Pittsburgh ever like see that there's a property and it's abandoned but they're paying the tax, and then they approach those? I know they're a lot more apt to sell it to a land bank than they are.
Yeah, they sure are. They're active. Similar to what we plan to do is, have their nuisance code and code enforcement. They keep their eyes out. I've even got the street sweepers now kind of looking out for certain stuff too as well, as they're going through, just identifying odd lots and whatnot. But yeah, you're right. There could be those opportunities, and yes, they do approach them.
Zach, is this organization then exempt the property tax?
Yes.
We are?
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
I just throw my 2 cents in with economy and everything the way it is. I'd hate to have, if we have access to money, that's one thing. But, if we're just putting money aside, how's the public going to look at, us doing that? I think we should have some up front so we can deal with the title issues and things. But, the sale of these properties, and my understanding, the sheriff's sales have been fairly active.
Actually, they have been. That's the
Which
only.
is
That's,
odd.
which is really. I got the last report of that. It was.
Yeah.
They only had like a handful that actually went to the sale. The
Yeah.
rest came in and paid their taxes.
And Habitat, we've been monitoring that pretty close, because
Yeah.
that's been our source to come up with properties, and we're dozing one next week. So I don't know, it makes me nervous to ask for a pile of money and the way the world is at the moment.
There's also some unknowns right now, like we don't know if Chris is charging this, is he going to forever do it in kind? I wouldn't imagine that the city wants to do that either, so paying for him to write the development agreement that we just had, there's gonna be a cost associated to that, so, I agree with everything that everyone's saying, but having something so that you don't have to make an ask to pay the city attorney for writing the agreement or something.
Well, if we had a nest egg, it would surely eliminate a time frame too, rather than asking when something comes up. If we have the money,
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
it'd make things go quicker.
I'm more inclined to ask for a joint, and that is, whatever amount, 25,000, and then so many hours of city employee in kind, so they can track both and see what we need for a year or two and see where we're at. And eventually, maybe we have we get enough in the funds that we pay the city back for everything. But I'm wondering if we ought to have both for now, so everybody understands to track it, and we know how much Chris or zoning and everybody else put into it.
Yeah, I could get behind that.
Okay.
Do we need to make a,
No, there's no motion here, just direction.
Service.
Okay, we'll bring this back to you for sure. This isn't,
Yeah, it's
we were
just,
just taking the temperature.
just a quick direction, like I said, before we head into 2024, clearly, like I said, the most likely source of funding would be a non-budgeted fund account, because we can't spend budgeted funds at this point for 2024. And then, more than likely, our finance director would be leaning towards a smaller amount to see how it goes instead of a large allocation. And again, just for the liquidity of the city, because obviously we'll hear if there is something that needed to be purchased, we'd make sure it happened. But it would all end up coming out of the same funding source. It's just how it'd be allocated and kind of what the priorities of this body are. Active
And-
purchasing or simply donations.
You're all gonna have a new city manager, so it's something we need to probably sit down as a unit and visit with her about too.
A lot of these are going to be, so yeah, the whole Choose Newton meeting is basically, yeah, we're doing this, but we're also going to wait and see the direction.
Yep.
So,
anything else? No? All right, meeting adjourned.